Hey guys, Sam from West Meadow Rabbits here. I'm taking a brief midweek break from the usual rabbit videos. There will be one on Sunday, but I have to show you the craziest thing that happened to me this week. I signed up for Chipdrop in the spring, and that's what I got. So what you're looking at here is two 15-yard drops of wood chips. So that's 30 yards total. There's a regular shovel in there for scale. Also my car, if you want an idea. It's a freaking lot of wood chips. It looks primarily like white pine to me. Also smells like white pine. We've got, plenty of pine needles here. That's definitely white pine. Also some really good quality wood chips. I'm really liking the way a lot of this looks. I don't mind these pine needles. They'll break down pretty fast. And for my purposes, a little bit of greenery like pine needles actually complements the wood chips because the nitrogen from those pine needles is going to get locked up in the wood chips and produce a nice kind of compost as it breaks down. But what am I using this for? So I have a ton of wood chips here, a little more than I was expecting. But in addition to my meat rabbits, I also work on a lot of different little side projects, I guess you could say. I'm really into gardening. I have food gardens as well as pollinator gardens. And I have, several trees that I have in my yard that I like to, nourish, if you will. And another great application for this many wood chips would be a Rauken house, which I'll link to up top in this video right now. It is basically a greenhouse of some type or shed that has, 12 to 18 inches of wood chips on the bottom, meat rabbits in cages above the wood chips, and chickens living, kind of in between. They go around on the floor, scratching whatever the meat rabbits drop and eat that, and they mix it all together. And you add wood chips periodically throughout the winter. So in the spring, you've got this gigantic aerated pile of basically compost / wood chips, with the chickens cleaning up a lot of what the rabbits leave behind and eating the insects that live in the wood chips that are breaking down the chicken and rabbit manure. It's a really interesting symbiotic system that I want to check out. But primarily what I have here is wood chips for my gardens. And again, Chipdrop is free. You can get this dropped at your house totally free. I signed up in the spring, so there's a pretty long wait, but depending on where you are, it could be faster. In my area, we're in the suburbs, but there's some pretty good sized farms around here. And in New England, sustainable farming is a pretty big thing. So there's somewhat competition for wood chips because they are an amazing addition to any sustainable farming operation. They can be used for walkways, they can be used for no-till gardens, they can be used for adding a carbon sink in your compost pile. I mean, the uses are limitless. But if you're in the right area, you might get it a lot quicker. Just don't complain if you get a lot, because it is free after all, and it's an amazing service. So check out Chipdrop. But let's take a quick peek at what I'm going to do with all this. Here's one of my pollinators / apple gardens. It is actually one of my pride and joys. I wanted to show it this summer, but it was abnormally rainy here, so it didn't do as well as it usually would. This is going to be getting expanded. It was a huge success. So what do I have in here? I have some small berry bushes down here, mostly little raspberry bushes, nothing crazy. I'm not trying to get a lot out of them. This monstrosity here was perennial sunflower, which did incredible. It attracted so many birds. The variety of insects I've seen has never been higher since I put these things in. And believe it or not, pests that I have in my regular gardens, like Japanese beetles, have actually plummeted to all-time lows. And that's because I've observed many different species of parasitic and predatory wasp actually utilizing these gardens for nesting space as well as hunting grounds. Another popular plant you probably will recognize is sage, which is just a lovely herb to have around. It does well in this sunny southward facing slope. And these guys right here are swamp milkweed. They produce beautiful orange flowers in the summer, all throughout the summer months. And I'm happy to say that the first monarch butterflies I've seen since I was a kid have begun showing up in my yard. This is the second year they were in. The first year I saw caterpillars and chrysalises, so that was very exciting. Around the yard I've got some bee balm, which is always nice, yarrow, another apple tree. Down south I've got a lot of encaisha, more perennial sunflower, pussy willow, sage, rosemary, and different families of lavender and salvia, which are always popular. Native dogwood. And again, I'm adding in here now, this is where all the wood chips are gonna go. You can see the sad looking tree, plus these little leftover bits of sage, salvia, and the name is escaping me right now. It'll come to me, but basically all these different perennial plants with fragrant leaves that are fantastic for native pollinators. I've added them to the yard, and we're getting started up here as well. So this is all gonna get covered with 6 inches of mulch. I'll post a video showing what it looks like when it's done. I'm also going to expand these beds, possibly run the wood chips down the side of either driveway where salt is a problem and I get crabgrass all summer, and erosion is also becoming a problem. So we'll see what we can do there. Here's a little American redbud, which is a gorgeous flowering tree with high wildlife value. So it's going to look really awesome when we're done. And we'll see how it goes. I will be sure to post an update. This is going to take me a few days, but for now, I can't wait to get started. Thanks a lot, guys. Regular rabbit video will be out Sunday. Remember, if you enjoy these videos, give a like and subscribe. And as always, if you want to chat, hit me up in the comments. I love to hear from everybody. Until then, have a great week and stay warm.